Scientists and archaeologists have one habit in common. Whenever they find something they just can't explain, they often dismiss it. Whether it's caution, skepticism, or just the way science works, anything that falls outside accepted knowledge is frequently labeled a hoax, coincidence, or simple misunderstanding. And to be fair, there's a reason for that. But sometimes, an ancient discovery appears that refuses to fit any familiar explanation. These finds are genuine, centuries or even millennia old, and they continue to leave even the world's top archaeologists baffled. Today, we're exploring 15 of the most amazing ancient discoveries that did exactly that. But before we get into it, if you're new to our channel, be sure to subscribe. All right, now, let's begin with Number 15. The Stone of Tizoc. Some Aztec ancient monuments seem determined to keep their meaning hidden forever. The Stone of Tizoc is one of them. Even today, archaeologists cannot agree whether the monument looks the same as it did when it was first carved during the 15th century, or whether the large circular depression at its center was added sometime later. One thing is beyond dispute. It is an Aztec masterpiece. Many researchers believe it served as a quaxicali, a ceremonial stone where the hearts of sacrificial victims were placed after rituals. That's why it is sometimes called the sacrificial stone. Nearly 10 feet across, the monument was found by road workers in Mexico City in 1791. Around its sides are detailed carvings of victorious warriors seizing defeated enemies by the hair, a familiar symbol of conquest across Mesoamerica. Smoking foot and smoking mirror emblems identify them as followers of the god Tezcatlipoca, while stars, eyes, and what may be Venus circle the rim, but their true meaning remains frustratingly out of reach. Number 14. The astronaut of Sakaris. Astronauts and ancient stone carvings don't usually belong in the same conversation. But in Scaries, one mysterious granite monument has been carrying that nickname for years. People call it the astronaut of Scaries because of the strange human-like figure carved into its surface, complete with an unusually large head that looks nothing like most ancient artwork. For a long time, the stone attracted almost no attention while sitting inside a cemetery wall. That changed once people began taking a closer look at its unusual features. Right beside the carving is an inscription that still hasn't been translated. The lettering appears to combine Indo-European and Latin characters, leaving historians completely divided. Some believe the figure represents a Celtiberian warrior carved more than 2,200 years ago. Others think it resembles an alien visitor, or even a traveler from another age. Well, until someone finally unlocks the meaning of that ancient inscription, this otherworldly stone will continue keeping its greatest secret to itself. Number 13. Ancient Egyptian reserve heads having a spare key or an extra wheel makes perfect sense. But what about a spare head? As strange as that sounds, it may explain one of the most baffling discoveries ever made inside ancient Egyptian tombs. Archaeologists have found more than 30 finely carved limestone heads, each with distinct facial features believed to represent the person buried nearby. Their expressions are different. Their proportions are unique, and they appear to have been made as individual portraits rather than idealized sculptures. The oldest examples date back to the reign of Pharaoh Sneferu around 2613 BCE. One long-standing theory suggests these so-called reserve heads were intended as replacements if the deceased's real head had been destroyed before entering the afterlife. It sounds extraordinary, yet no stronger explanation has ever replaced it. Their location only deepens the mystery. Egyptian funerary statues were normally displayed above ground, but these heads were hidden deep inside tombs, completely out of sight. Whatever purpose they once served disappeared with the civilization that created them. Number 12. The rock herd of Sliven. If you ever find yourself in the Bulgarian town of Sliven, don't expect these carvings to jump out at you. In fact, you have to look very carefully before the shapes begin to appear. Weathered by countless centuries of wind and rain, the so-called rock herd is carved into a rocky hillside and consists of dozens of animal heads, most of them resembling goats, rams, and bulls. Their worn appearance suggests incredible age, but exactly how old they are is anyone's guess. The carvings don't all share the same style either, leading researchers to believe they were created by more than one person over a long period of time. Unfortunately, rock is notoriously difficult to date, leaving almost no clues about who made them or when. Among the livestock are several wild animals and even aquatic creatures, making the mystery even deeper. Some experts think the collection may represent the zodiac, while others believe it was just an ancient shepherd's way of recording a flock. We mean, nobody on planet Earth can yet prove either explanation. Number 11. The hand of Sabazios. Every ancient faith left behind symbols that helped explain what its followers believed. The hand of Sabazios is different. These bronze hands are among the only surviving clues that a mysterious cult once spread through both the Greek and Roman worlds. By the 3rd century CE, worshippers had mixed ideas from several religions, including beliefs about fertility, vegetation, death, and the afterlife. The hands were covered with strange symbols, especially snakes, and some were worn during ceremonies. Others were fixed to poles, perhaps carried through streets during secret processions. Sabazios himself was linked to growth and fertility, which may explain the repeated serpent designs, but much of the meaning remains lost. The most puzzling detail is what has never been found. No confirmed temple dedicated to Sabazios has ever appeared. That absence has raised an unsettling possibility. Perhaps his followers never worshipped openly at all. They may have met quietly, leaving behind only these silent bronze hands. Number 10. The extinct imperial gibbon. For centuries, many animal species have vanished without leaving much behind. But in 2018, archaeologists opened a 2,300-year-old tomb in China's Shaanxi province and found something no one expected. Among the remains of a lynx, a black bear, and 2 leopards lay the skull of a gibbon unlike any species known today. The burial may have belonged to Lady Xia, grandmom of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, which makes it even weirder. Detailed testing showed that the animal was not closely connected to any living or previously recorded gibbon. It became the only known example of an extinct species called Junzi imperialis. Ancient Chinese records often described gibbons as noble animals, so this one may have been kept as a treasured companion. But one question remains. Was this rare creature truly unique? Or were others once kept beside powerful families, their bones still waiting somewhere beneath other long-forgotten royal tombs? Number 9. The figurines of Yikpabongo. Back in 2013, archaeologists introduced the world to a remarkable collection of terracotta figurines discovered in the village of Yikpabongo, Ghana. The figures came from 2 ancient earthen mounds and are believed to be around 1,400 years old. What immediately caught everyone's attention was how different they all were. One has the head of a crocodile, another resembles a chameleon, and one even appears with 2 human heads. Several figures also display physical deformities that modern medical experts recognize as congenital conditions still found in the region today. That unusual detail has led researchers to suggest the figurines may have been connected to spiritual healing or ceremonies honoring ancestors. The mystery grows deeper because many contain narrow channels running through their bodies, showing they were likely used for pouring liquid offerings during rituals. Exactly what those ceremonies involved remains unknown. One thing is certain, though, these were never simple decorations. They carried meaning, belief, and traditions that time has almost completely erased. Number 8. The Rongorongo script. Carving hundreds of symbols into wood takes patience, skill, and purpose. Whoever created the Rongorongo tablets clearly believed their message was worth preserving. Unfortunately, they forgot to leave behind a way to read it. These remarkable wooden inscriptions from Easter Island are covered with carefully arranged glyphs, unlike any other known writing system in the Pacific. French missionary Hugues Hérault first reported them after arriving on the island in 1864. Although scientific testing has shown that some tablets were carved as early as the 17th century. A few younger examples survive as well, but many experts suspect they are later copies rather than original texts. Despite decades of research, no one has managed to decipher a single complete inscription. The language once spoken by the people who carved them has faded from memory, taking the pronunciation and meaning of every symbol with it. Until someone unlocks the code, Rongorongo remains one of archaeology's greatest unsolved mysteries. Number 7. The Mermaid of Haraldskär museums are built on evidence. Every artifact inside is expected to have a history that can be traced, examined, and defended. That is exactly why the so-called Mermaid of Haraldskär continues to spark debate. On display at the National Museum of Denmark is a remarkably convincing mermaid skeleton that has fueled endless arguments ever since it appeared. According to the popular story, a farmer uncovered the remains while plowing a field near Haraldskär in 2012 before handing them to specialists, who allegedly identified them as an unknown marine creature. The museum tells a very different story. It states that the skeleton was created by Danish artist Mill Rude for a special exhibition and was never intended to fool anyone. That explanation certainly sounds far more believable. Even so, thousands of people remain convinced the official account hides the truth. To them, the skeleton is genuine, while every attempt to dismiss it is simply another carefully planned cover-up. So, what do you think about it? Number 6. The Larabanga Mystic Stone. In the quiet town of Larabanga, which is in Ghana, sits an ordinary-looking stone with a very extraordinary reputation. According to local tradition, it simply refuses to be moved. The story goes back to the 1950s, when British colonial officials planned to build a road straight through the area. Since the boulder stood in the way, construction crews pushed it aside and continued their work. By the following morning, it had somehow returned to its original position. Thinking it was a prank, they moved it again, only to find the same thing happened once more. After a third attempt, they abandoned the idea and redirected the road around the stone instead, leaving behind the sharp bend still visible today. Official documents never mention anything unusual, but local history tells a different story. The stone has been regarded as sacred since at least the 17th century during the rule of Indawura Jakpa. Whether pure legend or reality, it remains one of Ghana's most enduring mysteries, and no one has convincingly explained why. Number 5. Scottish crannogs. Most people think artificial islands are a fairly modern idea, but the truth is very different. Human beings have been building them for thousands of years, and Scotland is home to some of the finest examples. These man-made islands are known as crannogs, and for years archaeologists believed the oldest of them dated to the Iron Age, around the 9th century BC. That assumption completely changed after a remarkable discovery in recent years. Excavations and radiocarbon dating revealed that several crannogs in the Outer Hebrides are far older than anyone imagined. Some were actually constructed more than 5,000 years ago during the Neolithic period, pushing their origins back by thousands of years. Even more surprising, divers recovered beautifully preserved pottery from the surrounding water, suggesting these islands were places of real importance rather than simple homes. Whether they served as ceremonial centers, elite residences, or gathering places is still open to debate. Whatever their true purpose was, they continue to challenge everything archaeologists once believed about prehistoric Scotland. Number 4. The legendary sword of Roland. Every great legend leaves behind at least one mystery people never stop talking about. For the story of Roland, that mystery is a sword called Durandal. According to medieval tradition, the famous warrior carried a blade powerful enough to split solid rock. Even more remarkable is the claim that the sword still survives today. High above the chapel of Notre Dame in Rocamadour, France, an ancient sword remains lodged deep inside a cliff, where it has stayed for centuries. Whether it truly belonged to Roland has never been proven, but its appearance matches the style of weapons from around the 8th century. French legends say Charlemagne presented Durandal to Roland, while Italian tales trace its origins all the way back to Hector of Troy. Whatever its true history may be, the sword is treated as a sacred relic. Nobody is permitted to remove it or test it. Perhaps it really is the legendary weapon, or perhaps it is something else entirely. Until that question is answered, the mystery remains firmly embedded in stone. Number 3. The horned helmet of Henry VIII. Few historical objects look as though they belong in both a royal collection and a nightmare. Among the treasures preserved in England's royal armories is a bizarre horned helmet that appears surprisingly modern despite being more than 5 centuries old. Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian I commissioned it in 1511 as a gift for the young King Henry VIII. Yet the reason behind such an extraordinary present has never been fully explained. Built from solid steel, it seems sturdy enough for battle, but no record suggests Henry or anyone else ever wore it in combat. That has led many historians to believe it served a ceremonial purpose instead. Even that explanation leaves countless questions behind. Why was the face hidden beneath such an elaborate mask? What is the strange tube extending from the nose meant to represent? And why were spectacles built into the design? Every detail seems deliberate, but what does it really mean? Number 2. The jade burial suit's burial customs have always reflected what people believed awaited them after death. In ancient Egypt, royalty rested inside magnificent tombs, while many ordinary people elsewhere were laid to rest with little ceremony. But during China's Han Dynasty, the wealthiest nobles got something unlike anything seen elsewhere in the world. Their bodies were enclosed inside breathtaking suits assembled from thousands of polished jade pieces, each carefully stitched together with threads of gold or silver. Ancient texts mention these remarkable creations as early as 320 CE. Although some accounts hinted they had existed centuries before. Even so, no one could prove they were real until archaeologists uncovered 2 complete examples in 1968. They belonged to Prince Liu Sheng and his wife, Princess Du Wan. Crafting just one suit is believed to have required nearly a decade of painstaking work. Why jade was chosen remains uncertain, especially since its porous nature allowed the bodies inside to decay almost completely. Number 1. Yaprai stones. The way we use money today feels perfectly normal, but not every civilization shared the same idea of what currency should look like. For the people of Yap in Micronesia, wealth wasn't carried in a pocket or hidden inside a purse. Instead, it came in the form of enormous rai stones, some weighing as much as 9,000 pounds. Moving one was difficult enough, yet using it to buy something seems almost impossible. The mystery doesn't end there. Every one of these giant stones is carved from limestone, even though Yap itself has no natural source of that rock. Local tradition says they were brought from Palau during the 15th century by a man named Anagumang, who supposedly transported them by boat before using them to pay for food and accommodation. Limestone certainly exists in Palau, so the story isn't impossible. What no one has ever explained is how a single person managed to move stones weighing several tons across open water without sinking the boat carrying them. We hope you found this interesting. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.